G'day trendsetters, Greg here from Fishbait Films, and welcome to episode 13, unlucky for some, of the BNSF Birdwood Sub division. And have a look at this, more scenery trendsetters. This is actually based on the famous sellotape wall found in the Australian outback. Ah. No, that's a load of crap. It's my attempt at scenery actually, but what it really is just to stop some locos falling down through here and see what a rock wall would look like. So a few of you have been asking for another update, so yeah, righto. So I have been a bit busy, so let's have a look, and we'll have a look and see what's been going down, bro. Okay, now those of you that have watched the tsunami programming videos would have seen this bit of track work here as the couple of trains have been drifting down this loop here, which we call a tea tree loop. Now the middle of that there now is our large silo area where all our grain is going to be picked up and where our hoppers will be going. And I thought, well, it's about time we got some freight to move and somewhere to store some freight cars, so I've been having a finger out. And this will be the main grain area, or silos I suppose, so let's go and have a squiz. Yeah, it's amazing what just even a little bit of this makeshift wall here, how it really makes the layout look a little bit better, or a lot better I should say. Okay, this will be quite a busy facility. There'll be two arrival and departure tracks, there'll be another storage track, and then behind this bit of pine here, which will be disguised as a silo, and there'll be a few silos around here. Two furthest tracks at the back will be the loading tracks for where the hoppers get pushed in, and that's where they'll get loaded in the back here. So they're furthest away, so you don't need to touch them and uncouple them as much. If you uncouple them up this other end here. And all the switching mains would be done at the front here, and just a rake of maybe half a dozen will be pushed into these two tracks at a time. And then at this end, the track obviously comes back around to the main line. Now I'm thinking that I'll hide some of this in a tunnel. It's a good idea to split the scenes up. If you can split scenes up by a tunnel or a bridge or something, so it makes the layout look a lot bigger. And I might put a tunnel in somewhere, maybe around there, just on the back track for the branch out to the, what do you call it, grain facility I suppose. We call them silos out here, but anyway. And then, of course, it comes back around onto the mainland. Now I'm debating whether to have a run-round facility in the grain so we can drive trains in and actually run the locos around and drive them out again, or pull up on the main line and back in. I'm sort of debating what to do with that. And then it joins the main line there. So the way it's designed, that you can't get to the grain facility out of the yards, which is makes it harder. You have to go around the whole bottom level of the layout to get to the grain facility. So to give you an example of what I mean by that, trendsetters, is this is our track into the yards here, and that's our turnout off to the grain facility. Now I could have put a diamond in here and gone straight into the yard track over here, but that would make it too easy. So now local trains that have to go to the grain facility have to leave out this way, or go the other way through into the yards and go around the whole layout and get their way back here. So that's about a 15-minute run in real time just to get to here. So it adds a lot more flexibility. So if you can do the opposite, a real railroad tries to design things efficiently, what we would try and do is design things inefficiently. Oh, and speaking of yards, yeah, I've been busy working on the lower yard, the West Birdwood yards. And there's a bit more track to lay and they'll be done. So our arrival and departure track is the middle one, and the front track is our lead or team track, whatever you want to call it, that goes into our storage tracks. And there's a runaround track, and we can hold about, I think, 60 cars in this yard, thereabouts. Now trendsetters, another thing that's important is you have to remember there's going to be another level on top of here. So I've got this bit of pine out here just as like a guide. So to give me some idea of when I'm doing stuff in here, I don't want to be bumping my head trying to get to stuff. So that's why I said before that these tracks at the back here are where the hopper cars will go. You won't need to touch them. So you reach in here, it's a lot easier, because you've got to remember you're going to be knocking your head on this thing right here. So it's always a good idea if you're doing stuff like that. If you haven't built the framework on top, just put a guide out like that so you know. So the framework will be going on top here, I don't know, next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. Now, speaking of framework, this is why I like the old L girders construction. That's just a bit of, what do you call that, 2v1 I think it is, and some scrap ply on the bottom there. And some people use pine on the bottom, but I can get some old scrap ply lying around. So just glue and nail that together, and then these can be used anywhere as support upright. So I'll show you exactly how we do it. Right, so we need to get a support for our new silo or grain handling track, benchwork I should say, which is up here. That light's a bit strong, isn't it? Never mind. So I put my supports about 500 mil, a bit under 2 foot spacing, and with this nice thick ply here, that gives you a really solid benchwork. So I need a support somewhere around here. Now this is obviously the framework to the bottom of the layout here, and where I need to put it, there's nothing there. So that's where the old L girders comes in really handy. And what we do, we can just whack that in there like that, and you can put that anywhere you like. Now that's why it's a good idea to have a framework like this. As we said very early on in the first few episodes of the Birdwood subdivision, and that way you can just make these the right length. Now if I wanted this out here somewhere, I would have made it longer, but I measured it and I only needed it about 200 mil, so it can go in there. Actually I'm going to put it that way, so it sits in there like that, somewhere around there. Get a screw there, screw there. Now they're just locating screws, so they don't need to be large. All they need to do is stop this from moving. All your weight is borne by this vertical member there, and then you cut your upright. The suit, I haven't cut this one properly yet. That goes in there like that. Screw in through there. The weight is borne by this bit here a little bit, and also screwed in the vertical bit there. So it's super strong. And you can move that wherever you like. So that's the beauty of L girder benchwork trendsetters. It's just fabulous. Okay, so here's a bit of an aerial shot of the branch line out to the grain facility. Even just having this one little bit of ply in here at a different level and that bit of a pseudo wall there really changes the look of the layout, which is good. So I hope to have track laid on here probably by the weekend, hopefully, or at least in a week's time anyway. See how we go. Because I'd like to have an ops run session maybe in a month, so I'll need somebody to switch some cars. Now, speaking of running in locomotives, a few of you have asked if I would do a speed matching video as well after my programming of the Tsunami decoders. So I'll have to speed match this locomotive soon actually. So I will do a video of that in the next week or so. And for you guys that want to know how to speed match, yeah, we'll do that. Now, of course, speed matching with other Katos is a lot easier because they all have similar sort of characteristics. But this particular one, I just know, and I've just done a few of my normal settings, and it has a totally different characteristics on its motor than some of the others. So, just because they're the same, as I've said before in the programming, doesn't mean all the settings will be the same. They'll be close, but they won't be identical. Like that little bit of wood there? That's lovely, isn't it? Look at that. That's another bit of scenery there. Now, a few of you have asked for a wiring update, and I will do one of them, in the coming months. But you ever been to a painter's house and he hasn't quite finished painting the house, and you know how mechanics normally drive around in bomb cars? Well, electricians normally have wiring that's not finished, and electricians who are also signal electricians probably have signal wiring that's never finished. But anyway, I will do a wiring update when my wiring becomes a bit more respectable. But the gear I use is NCE. That's the command module, those of you that are new to it. That's the box, the magic box that you get with the pack. This is a 5 amp booster, this is also 5 amps. So the system's running 10 amps. The 5 amps out of this box does the lower level, this does the top level. And I'm thinking of getting a third one to do the yard, so that'll be more than enough grunt trendsetters. But I promise I will do a wiring video when I feel like showing you my wiring, but at the moment it's a bit embarrassing. And one quick thing I will say about the wiring is if you can get the biggest wires you possibly can for your bus. That's the main bus that runs around the layout, which all your feed is dropped to. And I'm having several buses because they're broken up into areas, which you should. You should get some circuit breakers. Instead of buying a new next freight car, buy yourself some circuit breakers. I haven't done that yet, and it's a pain because if you do short out something, the whole layout stops. So yeah, it's don't do as I do as I say. And these are some of the wires going out to the buses and essentially to the tracks, and supplies from the boosters. But make your bus wire. This is 2.5mm. We don't work in gauges for electrical wire down here. That's 2.5 square mil, which is good for about 25 amps. This is what we wire houses in, like power circuits for houses. So that's more than enough because it's only having 5 amps through it. But when you consider the voltage drops and all that, which there isn't a lot, and I'll get to about voltage drops and all that sort of thing when we talk about wiring. But if you're starting to wire layout, as big as bus as you can, and your droppers to the tracks don't need to be very big at all, because it's more on how many you put in. But anyway, we'll discuss that later. Well, trendsetters, there's an old girlfriend of mine used to tell you that was short and sweet. But I think that'll do us for the day. Thank you very much for watching. And as I said, I will do a more in-depth update on wiring and connections and track drops and all that sort of thing later on. Also, a big thank you to a couple of people who have programmed their Tsunami decoders the way I do it and put it up on YouTube. That's a really nice touch. Thank you very much for that. And good to see you getting all the things you should be getting out of your Tsunamis and your locomotive. So that'll do for now. I'll get this track put down for our next update, so I'll get into that. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hooroo!